Hello everyone. Hello guys. I'm back. Bosman Studios is back, and for this video I'm gonna list 10 albums that I think are perfect from front to back. So with that being said, let's get started. Also, these are not in order. I truly believe there's a lot of albums that I believe there are 10 out of 10 perfect front to back, but these are just some albums that I can name at the moment. So first one is Illmatic by Nas. Illmatic is the first album I believe that I've ever heard from front to back, and it really spearheaded my love for music. My nerdiness when it comes to music. Started listening to albums when I was a freshman in high school, and this I believe was the first album that I listened to. Shout out to Illmatic, shout out to Nas. The next one is Pet Sounds. I have this FOMO when I was starting off my like music journey. I have this FOMO of not wanting to miss out on the greatest things that has ever existed, right? So I keep searching out like lists of like the greatest songs of all time, the greatest albums of all time, and Pet Sounds is always almost at the top of the list every time. So I came to listen to it. So I came to listen to it. I look at the cover, it's not really as appealing, but when you guys listen to it, it's like perfection. I really got inspired by Brian Wilson. You know, Not necessarily the perfectionist tendencies, but it feels like I want to make something like this as a musician. I wish I could write at least one song that's similar to a song in Pat Sounds, and I truly recommend that album. It's something that is one of the most important albums for me. The third album is gonna be London Calling by The Clash. It's not something I realized. It's something I can't realize that a punk band can create an album where all of them are just having fun and combining it with like post punk, ska, or like even rockabilly. Like it's like an hour and I don't know how many minutes, but more than an hour. But still, every song it just hits you. You can see like they experimented. They took their time to record every song and stuff like that. So London Calling by The Clash. A lot of these albums are gonna be like casual because I mean it kind of makes sense. These are the greatest albums of all time, and they truly changed me. So it kind of makes sense why they're here. So the next one is gonna be Thriller by Michael Jackson. I'm not saying this because of the hype and stuff like that. Michael Jackson is one of my biggest role models when it comes to like music. He inspired me to like perform, ever since I was a kid. So he's my first role model when it comes to like performing or like music in general. And listening to Thriller, everybody knows all of the songs are hits. So not one bad song in Thriller. All of them from front to back. You can listen to it on the car ride, front to back. No flaws at all. And it makes you appreciate Michael's music more. As casual as it sounds, I truly believe that is this album Thriller is perfect. The next album is gonna be Is This It by The Strokes. I've always loved The Strokes. I got introduced by them during COVID, just like algorithm wise. I'm also like searching up like the best albums list, and they show up as well one of the most biggest greatest albums during the year 2001, I believe. So it's just I listened to it from front to back. Is one of the best indie rock records that I've ever heard. It just it's not just like the biggest songs like Someday or Last Night. Of course, my favorite song on the album is hard to explain, and for obvious reasons. And I just truly fell in love with the you know the stripped down sound of like indie rock, and it doesn't need to be like polished, which I will get to later as well with another album. So it is It by Strokes, perfect album for me. Next album is Ultra Electromagnetic Pop by the Eraserheads. Um, I believe, of course, they spearheaded that. This album spearheaded 90s OPM. Um, a lot of people think, well, obviously it sounds really bad, recording wise, like mixing wise, Um, it sounds like it was recorded in a can, which is okay. I think it really symbolizes the movement of 90s OPM. Like it kind of makes sense where almost anyone can make music. It doesn't have to be commercialized, or it doesn't have to be like the most polished. But still, it became very successful. So that that kind of like symbolized the whole movement basically. Even if it sounds recorded, like it sounds like it's recorded in a can, the songs that are written, you can tell that the band is just having so much fun. not taking themselves seriously, but taking their art very seriously as well. So Ultramagnetic Pop, one of the greatest OPM albums ever made, and it's perfect. Number seven, I believe, is it? Are we in seven right now? Is Abbey Road by the Beatles. It's still gonna be my favorite Beatles album. Um, with the medley, I believe the medley is one of the best decisions ever made in pop music. Maxwell Silverhammer is a good song to me. Like, you know, this album has no flaws from front to back as well. It's gonna be the same thing I explained about in the next few albums. I think it's the greatest Beatles album. Um, I think the one that comes really close to this would Rover, but when it comes to like a more casual listen or deep listen, where I can listen to it front to back, Broken Abbey Road, as casual as it sounds. The next one is Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. Um, you can truly see the passion when creating this album. It can show up in every song. You can see you know, like ideas just keep coming um, from David. Um, you can definitely see the passion and like wanting to really create art, not just music, but art in general. And it truly inspires a lot of people, even me, when it comes to like writing music, wanting wanting to write as something as beautiful as Ziggy Stardust. Having your own persona. Yeah, that's to make it very quick. Perfect album. The next album I always think of when I think of like perfect albums is His Education of Lauryn Hill. Front to back, it's like a movie. The album really feels like a movie, and that's the best way I can explain it. Um, I believe the maybe a favorite song of mine there is gonna be Everything Is Everything. I truly feel like it might be one of the greatest albums of the '90s, and how I wish that Lauryn Hill could have recorded one more album after that, right? But it's okay. We can't have anything in this world. The last album might be The Stone Roses, The Stone Roses, which is like the debut album by the band called Stone Roses. Um, the feeling that it provides is just nostalgia, nostalgia in a way that in a place where you don't even exist. Like it makes you feel British, just like them, walking the streets in the late '80s. Um, One of my favorite songs there. It's like Stone Roses is like combining jangle pop with Manchester, which is is it dance music or house music? Early house or early dance. I could be wrong, but it's like combining that, and it works all the time. And one of my favorite songs in the album is, I know it's a bonus track, but it's Fool's Gold. I can literally listen to the whole 30 minutes of it. And the song's on, but it just adds more to the perfection of the album. And unfortunate that the second album is not the same, but I'm glad that this album exists. So with that being said, those are my 10 albums. We're gonna have another part, because I believe there's more albums that are perfect. So catch you guys later. See you in the next one.